Hey everybody, this is Maxine Taylor. It's July 25th, 2016, and the Democratic National Convention starts today. So we've got to take a look at the charts of the players. First of all, the main player, Hillary. So, as you know, in a diurnal chart, which I'm using to make my political predictions, a planet has to be right smack dab on the cusp, and then we attempt to interpret what that placement means. The birth time that we have for Hillary is not, we're not sure it is accurate. We have one early morning birth time and another evening birth time. I'm using the morning birth time because that seems to work. Those of you who study astrology, this is the Scorpio rising chart. As a Scorpio, then she is a double Scorpio. So, assuming this birth time is accurate, which we must do for our purposes today, here is the chart with just the planets that are right on the cusps for the convention. Okay, starting on Tuesday, tomorrow, she has her natal moon on the diurnal descendant, the cusp of the 7th house. The 7th house rules partnership. It rules spouses. It rules business partnerships. It also rules our open enemies. I think it's very interesting that astrologically the 7th house is the house of spouse and open enemies, as well as litigation, whether divorce or business litigation. However, for our purposes, with the moon right there, this is where there's going to be an emotional attachment. And since her husband, Bill Clinton, President Bill Clinton, is going to be speaking on Tuesday, I would imagine that that's what we're talking about. Now, on Thursday, the last day of the convention, Hillary has the same configuration that Donald Trump had the day before the Republican National Convention ended. And I'm going to show you that chart and talk about it when I'm finished here. So she has her progressed Uranus, the unexpected, when it comes to her public image, triggered on Thursday. We don't know how this is going to come about, how it's going to play out. But let me just jump over to Donald Trump's diurnal for the RNC. Here it is, right here. Okay. If you will recall, when I did my video, I told you that on Wednesday he had his progressed Uranus on the midheaven. At the very same day, he had his natal moon at the very bottom of his chart. The midheaven represents your public image. The 4th house deals with home and family. Well, it's so new that we recall that on Wednesday, that's when Ted Cruz did not endorse Trump from the podium. He encouraged Republicans to vote their conscience, and that was the unexpected. Now, even though Donald Trump knew that Ted Cruz was not going to endorse him, nevertheless, he had him speak, and this was quite a shock publicly. With the moon at the cusp of the 4th house of home and family, real estate, and moon representing family, Eric, his son, spoke that day very eloquently and gave a very strong, heartfelt endorsement for his father. Okay, back to Hillary. She's got her progressed Uranus on the midheaven Thursday. I have no idea how to interpret that except to expect the unexpected when it comes to her public image. On Thursday also, her progressed vertex is on the diurnal 12th. The 12th is behind the scenes activities. It is our hidden enemies. And so this is her dealing privately, perhaps, with what happens. I will have to get back with you. You will see it happen at the same time I see it happening. Okay, now let's talk about Bernie, because many people have said, don't count Bernie out. Okay, well, let's take a look and see what's going on in Bernie Sanders' chart. First of all, on Tuesday, his natal Neptune is on the diurnal 12th. So there's lots of, Neptune is smoke and mirrors. It's fog. It's the dream. But in the 12th house, it's lots of behind the scenes activities and perhaps hoping for the fulfillment of the dream. So there's lots going on behind the scenes that we will probably never know about because of Neptune veiling it. However, on Thursday, he has his natal Venus on the diurnal ascendant. Venus is love. The ascendant is the physical body. It is the most personal point in the entire chart. And so he's loving him. He is feeling so great about him, and he will make a very loving presentation wherever he goes that day. Now, I got to tell you, the birth time for Bernie is one that was given on a site by someone who worked with Bernie and his natal chart many years ago. I believe it's 12:27 p.m. It seems very accurate to me so far, and if I get a birth time that's 12:27 rather than 25 or 30, it really does feel accurate. So that in mind, Friday, which is the day after the DNC, Bernie has Uranus on his 7th house cusp. Again, the unexpected in relationship to spouse, running mates, because remember, the 7th house, I failed to mention that a minute ago with Hillary, but the 7th house is the running mate also. It's the open enemies, the adversaries, and the ones we are nearest and dearest to. It also deals with the public. So once again, we have a Uranian aspect, and we don't know how that is going to manifest in Bernie's chart. Very, very interesting. Stay tuned. You know, I had said I wasn't going to do any more videos until after the conventions, and here I am doing them practically every day. I have a birth time for Tim Kaine. It is listed. If you go to the Astro Data Bank, he is listed there. And here is his diurnal. On the day, well, today, Monday, July 25th, he has transiting Jupiter on the ascendant. Jupiter brings blessings. It expands whatever it touches. And so he's really feeling good about himself. But there's nothing else going on during the convention, which is not surprising since he's running for vice president rather than president. Makes sense to me. So I think I've covered all of them. I have a chart for the convention. Very interesting. I have one for the Republican convention. I'd rather look at the candidates. What I will do is go into greater depth, greater detail by analyzing Tim Kaine's chart. And since we do not have a birth time for Mike Pence, if any of you have his birth time, if you'll send it to me, I will be happy to interpret his chart. Otherwise, the only thing we can go by is his solar chart. And so what is interesting to me is that Donald Trump is a Gemini, and so is Mike Pence. He's a double Gemini. He has a sun in Gemini and a moon either in Gemini or Cancer. Very, very interesting. So stay tuned, more to come. And as I always say, may the stars shine brightly on you and yours.